beautiful day begins with a beautiful mindset. I'm just going to hop right into it because this message is just bubbling up on the inside of me. Patterns over potential. Learning to trust patterns over potential. So, patterns reveals who someone is. Potential is the possibility of who someone could be. And a lot of the times, we, as especially I'll say people who are empathetic, people who have big hearts, people who are very loving and heart centered, we tend to trust people's potential. The benefit of the doubt, we are extending the grace and the willingness to be patient, to see the best in someone. And I'm not saying that any of those are necessarily bad, but everything is in moderation. And when you realize that potential is who someone could be if they chose to put the effort towards aligning with that, that's a separate possibility, you know, versus patterns is who someone is. Patterns are revealing of someone's character. And their character is based off of their habits. And their habits are just based on choices that they've made over and over again to where it's become second nature. So we know that our habits form our character. Our habits form patterns, and the patterns reveal our character, I should say. And so a lot of the times we are, and when I say we, again, I'm speaking to the people who are aligned with being empathetic, being forgiving, being compassionate, being loving. Because we have to realize in the world, you have givers and you have takers. And it's important for givers to align with other givers because givers will just give. And takers will just take. And if givers get with takers and they both don't have any boundaries, they both don't have any limits, it's going to be unhealthy. It's going to be codependent. It's going to be toxic. Whereas when you have two givers, you're pouring, you're giving and receiving. You pour as you pour, give as you give. When we focus on potential, we are potentially enabling the other person to be okay with showing up as they are. And I'm not saying that people showing up as they are is not okay. But what I'm saying is love is accountability. Love holds you, them, us accountable. And without accountability, you really don't have the space to reflect. And if you don't have reflection, how can you measure your ability, your performance, your capacity? If you are not evaluating yourself, how can you ever evolve? And if you're not evaluating others and the things that you're a part of. And so it's so important for us to realize that we are here to learn, to grow, to expand, to heal. Life is a school, and we are here to gain something. We are also here to bring something. We're here to offer something. We all are here to be of service to the greater good. Everything in nature is to be of service. Everything that God creates is to be of service in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And we know that God creates with the end in mind. But even though we have the potential to be who God has called and created us to be, does not mean that we are aligned with that presently. And it doesn't mean that we're even going to choose to align with that, because that's something that separates us as humans from the rest of nature. We have free will. We have the ability to choose. And so really, when you think about it, patterns reveal choices. Patterns reveal our choices, y'all. So if you want to learn someone, study them. If you want to learn something, you study it, you observe it, you witness it, not judge it, not expect it, just witness it, just observe it. And when you realize that who someone reveals themselves to be is not who they say they are. It's not when you first meet them. It's not when you're introduced to their representative. It's like when you go to a job interview, you're going to meet somebody's representative. This is who I am. This is what I do. This is how I live my life. This is how I can benefit your company. This is my work ethic, yada, yada, yada. That's their representative. But you won't really get to know them until you study their work ethic, study their patterns. How do they show up when they are challenged, when they're irritated, when things aren't going their way? How do they show up when they have the things that they need? How do they show up when they don't have the things that they need? How do they show up for themselves in their own life? What are their patterns? How do they speak? What is their mindset? Because how they speak reveals their mindset, but more importantly, their heart posture. From the heart, from the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Do they have a problem for every solution, or do they have a solution for every problem? Are they constantly seeing the possibilities, or are they seeing the limitations? Are they looking in a positive way, or are they looking in a negative way? What I want to share with you is that when we trust people's patterns over their potential, we're trusting them to be exactly who they are. And that's something that I'm working on in my own life, is trusting people to be exactly who they are, rather than who I think they are, rather than who I think they should be, or even who they could be, rather than who they say they are. I trust them to be exactly who they are. And the only way I'm going to learn who they are is by observing them and studying them. And if I'm not willing to study them and to learn them, then I probably shouldn't be connected to them at all, because to love someone is to learn them, right? To love someone is to learn them. Love is not a feeling, it's a choice. Love is not a feeling, it's a choice. And even if you go deeper to realize that someone's patterns reveals even the relationship that they have with themselves. Do they love themselves? At what capacity do they love themselves? Do they take care of themselves? Are they in a nurturing place? Are they in survival mode? Are they in a place of taking, of receiving, of giving, of serving? Because we know that love is also to be of service. Love is the highest calling. And again, love is not a feeling, it's a choice. So what happens when you start to trust patterns over potential? One, you liberate yourself and you liberate them from the weight of expectation, from the weight of disappointment, and from any other bondage that may come with not accepting and trusting the patterns. Versus when you trust potential, you're trusting what could be, what may or may not ever be, and expectations always lead to disappointment. I think that there's a difference between having expectations and having requirements. When you have expectations, that's an idea of what you think should happen or what you would like to happen. And when reality doesn't align with that, it can be easy to become disappointed. But when you realize that the requirements that you set are for your own personal experience, then you get to set that standard in your life. And how I've heard it is high standards prevent low quality experiences. When you are trusting patterns and you're holding that to your standard, you're choosing to not accept those patterns, that experience of life. Just because that's how someone is, I can accept that. Love is acceptance. But just because I accept that doesn't mean I have to choose it. Just because I accept that doesn't mean I have to allow it. Just because I accept that doesn't mean I have to be okay with it. And I think that sometimes we feel like because I love someone, or because I'm in a relationship with this person, or because we're family or whatever, I have to make space for this in my reality. No, you do not. No, you do not. When you have high standards, it prevents low quality experiences. When you have healthy boundaries, it prevents the unhealthy tendencies from creeping in. When you just let anything happen, you can't be surprised when your life is just taken over by other people's nonsense. And for me, I'm really big on no nonsense. We can kiki, we can have fun, we can chill, But at the end of the day, and at the beginning of the day, in the middle of the day, it has to be alignment based, and it has to be intentional. It has to serve a purpose. If not, what is the point? If who you are being does not serve a purpose, if what you are doing does not serve a purpose, and I mean a greater purpose other than just being selfish or self-centered or wanting your needs to be met. But even that, let people reveal themselves to you and then decide what's best. Don't just get so swept up in what somebody says or who you think them to be or even how you feel about them. And sometimes as women, especially because we are more emotional based and men tend to be more logic based, women, we can form emotions towards people before we've actually gotten to logically approach the situation. And sometimes that could be I won't say our downfall, but it's not beneficial for us. Sometimes you have to put the feelings on pause to let the logic form and then move forward with the feelings. Because if you base everything that you do and say off of your feelings, you have to realize that feelings are temporary, just like the weather. It could be sunny right now, and then tomorrow or later today, it'll be cloudy, or it'll be raining now, and then later it'll be sunny. That's the feelings. And so it's not wise to make permanent decisions. I was getting a call, y'all. I hope it didn't mess it up. It is unwise to make permanent decisions based off of temporary. Hold on, y'all. Let me put my phone on. I'm getting a call, so I'm trying to, of course, as soon as I go live, I'm telling you, when I start talking, I've been on this prayer line and Bible study line, I've been expounding, and it seems like every time I get ready to expound or share my verse, something comes up. The line will start making noise or to start like getting real bad feedback. The other day I was talking and somebody was snoring throughout. It's just like little things. And it's like, okay, enemy, you don't want this to get out. You don't want me to say what I'm saying, but bye devil with your ugly self, because I'm gonna press on. So what I was saying was, it is not wise to make permanent decisions based off of temporary circumstances. Your feelings are temporary. You should not make long-term decisions based on how you feel right now. I think it's always wise to take how you feel, and that's okay, put it to the side, and then take the reality of a situation and really go through that objectively versus subjectively, to focus on the object rather than the subject, the what rather than the who. So it doesn't matter who is doing it. Let's focus on the what is being done. Would you be okay with this being done regardless of who it's coming from? Because sometimes we make people the exceptions to our rules, and that serves no one. When you have healthy boundaries, you are willing to maintain it. Boundaries are not about restrictions. Boundaries are not about saying, this is what you can't do in my life. Boundaries are saying, this is what I will allow in my life. So whether they do it or don't do it, it is up to me to uphold and maintain my own boundaries. You get what I'm saying? You can never control what someone else does or who they are or what they choose, but you can always control what you decide and what you choose and who you ultimately allow yourself to be. So boundaries are for you. Boundaries are not really about the other person. Boundaries are saying, this is how much I can show up for you and still honor myself. Boundaries don't have to be an electric fence that if someone touches, they're like, ugh, 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 ugh. Boundaries can just be a sign that says, I will be treated sacredly. So when you trust patterns over potential, you are choosing to honor who someone is versus who they could be. I'm not saying that potential isn't important, and I'm not saying that patterns mean that's who that person will always be, but patterns is showing you who they've been up until that point. Potential is who they could be if they decided to put the effort and action towards aligning with that. One is real. It's right here, right now. It's tangible, whereas the other one is but a figment of your imagination. And if you realize, even for ourselves, we might be putting the focus on, oh, once I do this, then I'm gonna. How often do you follow through with what you say you're gonna do for yourself? Are you even in alignment with yourself to where you trust your own word? How many times do you show yourself that your word is true and valid? Or do you keep saying, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm a, and then it doesn't happen. And then another year, 2, 5, 6 years have passed, and you're like, you're still saying the same thing that you were saying back then. That's a pattern versus potential. Sometimes, and I mean, it's easier for us to give ourselves the benefit of the doubt. It's easier for us to give ourselves the benefit of the doubt. But then when it comes to other people, we're like, I don't really know about that. But if you decided to make your relationship with yourself the healthiest and the most aligned, the most pure, the most intentional, then you have a standard to hold other people to. You know what I mean? So if I am not a woman of my word, how can I expect you to be a woman or man of your word? If I'm not honest with myself, how am I going to expect you to be honest with me? How can you expect me to be honest with you? If I don't do what's necessary for me to be at peace, at ease, healthy, joyful in my own life, how can I expect that of you? And how could you look at me to bring that to you? It's impossible. Impossible. We have to get so intentional about the life that we're cultivating to where you realize I am the main character in my own story, my own book, my own movie. Oh, look at that. I am the main character and everybody else is secondary. So whatever I choose is what will happen. People can only do what you allow them to do in your life. They can do whatever they want to do and over there in their life. They could be whoever they want to be over there in their life. But when they come over here, when they cross this threshold right here, when they cross the gun line, boss, it comes with certain standards. I've had to grow to this because it serves no one from you not having boundaries. It serves no one from you being less than who God has called you to be. It serves no one for you to just allow people to do whatever in your life. No, ma'am, Pam. No, sirree, Bob. In order for your yes to have value, your no must be stated. What are you a no to? Don't just be a yes man. Don't just be a yes woman because you don't want to hurt people's feelings. They'll be okay. Because sometimes to try to keep the peace around us, we start a war within ourselves. And someone who's at war with themselves can never fully show up for you. Someone who is at war with themselves can never fully love you. Someone who is at war with themselves can never be able to be at peace. So you can expect from them. They can't give what they don't have. And the same thing goes for you. You might want to be in a healthy relationship, but if you're not in a healthy relationship with yourself, you're gonna get in a relationship with someone who's healthy, and you're gonna sabotage it because, baby, you haven't taken the steps and strides to become, to have healthy habits and healthy patterns. You think that if I just got the money that I don't have, if I got $1 million, I would know what to do with it. But you got $100 and you don't know what to do with it. If I just had this, then I would this. Are you sure? If what you desire was to present itself to you right here, right now, would you be the version of you that is aligned with receiving it? Consider that. Whether it's the house, the car, the relationship, the job, the title, the status, the whatever. If you were to receive it right now, would you be the version of you that is aligned with it, that is a vibrational match to it? And if not, that shows you what you need to work on within yourself. We can't wait until we get there. Start now. I think people overthink what it means to heal, to grow, to change. It simply means shifting your mindset to align with that. That's what healing is. I'm going to adopt a healthy mindset. That's what growth is. I'm going to adopt a growth mindset. So instead of saying, I always get in relationships that, and it's a negative way, if I continue to speak that, and I'm choosing that because what I'm speaking is a reflection of what's going on in my mind, but ultimately what's rested in my heart. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. From the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So if I want to be healthier, I have to choose healthier. I have to choose healthier thoughts. I have to choose healthier words. I have to choose healthier actions. I have to choose healthier environments. I have to choose healthier people to be around. Baby, you can't be around one rotten apple can ruin the whole bunch. If you got 7 healthy apples and you got one rotten one, don't you know that one rotten one is going to get all the other ones? Don't play with your life. Don't play with your life. I am an advocate of self-love and self-care, and not in a way where it's just like, oh, bubble baths and foot massages and getting your hair and nail done. I'm talking about self-love and self-care that makes you hold the mirror up to yourself. And I won't say makes you, invites you to hold the mirror up to yourself and reflect. What am I seeing? What am I showing myself through the way that I'm moving through life? What patterns am I revealing to myself? Because the only constant in my life is me. So am I attracting the same type of people, situations, circumstances? Am I growing? Am I in the same place that I was at 5 years ago? Even though the days have passed and the years have passed and the weeks and the seasons have changed, why am I still feeling the same? Because there's something within me that has yet to change. Thoughts, words, heart posture, habits. Everything on the outside is just a reflection of what's going on within. So if there's something on the outside that you're not liking that's being reflected to you, that shows you what needs to be changed on the inside. If I'm hanging around people and this person, they're not intentional, they're not consistent, they're not deliberate with their word, they're not, instead of me judging that, I'm just gonna make sure I don't align with those things. Because what has attracted me to this? How am I hanging out with people who aren't on top of their A game? How am I hanging out with people who are okay with talking about other people? How am I attracted to or aligned with people who are doing nothing with their life? There are certain things to me that are just completely unattractive. And I don't mean in a romantic sense or a physical sense. I mean energetically. I'm not attracted to anything that doesn't invite me to be better, that doesn't invite me to grow and expand. I'm very growth minded, and my attention span is my attention, that's my currency. My energy is my currency. Where energy goes, where your attention goes, energy flows. So wherever you give your attention, you're giving energy, you're giving your currency. So instead of focusing on the things that you don't like, you pull that back and focus on what you do. If you don't like what they're doing over there, why are you paying attention to it? Come back over here. Oh, that's just who they are. If someone has revealed to you who they are, why are you expecting them to be different? And I'm talking to myself as well, y'all. Everything that I'm sharing with you, everything that I ever share with you is a reflection of things that I've experience on my own, that I've had to come to terms with, the conversations, the hard conversations that I've had to have with myself, and that I have with people that I love. Because love holds you accountable. Love calls you to a higher standard. Love don't just let you do whatever you want to do and however you want to do it. That's not love. Especially if I see that what you're doing isn't aligning you with who you say you want to be or who God has called you to be. If you want to be less than who God has called you to be, you want to be less than your best, that's fine. Go do that over there. But over here and in here, oh baby, we're growing, we're healing, we're elevating, we're striving, we're softening, we're purifying, we're healing. If I didn't say that already, this little gnat is like let me read this comment. I've come to realize this about patterns as well, and have been looking to change my patterns and go back to old patterns that were more beneficial for me and those around me. Yes, self-evaluation leads to self-evolution. When you evaluate, then you can evolve. But if you don't ever evaluate, you're just going to keep doing the same thing over and over again. It's like being on the hamster wheel. If you don't ever get off of it, you're not going to get any further. Like most people live their life on a hamster wheel. Just this same thing over and over and over. Life is cyclical, right? Not a circle, it's cyclical. So instead of this, same thing, different year, same thing, different person, same relationship experience. Instead of this, we're supposed to be like this. You start here, and as you grow and you evolve, you're having experiences, but you see it from a higher perspective. That is life. That's why you see people, and some of them are old and they still doing the same thing that they were doing when they were young, and not in a way that's benefiting them or the people around them. They say the worst kind of fool is an old fool. But then again, you got to trust their patterns over their potential. You think because you're older, you're supposed to be wiser? No, ma'am, Pam. You could tell a tree by the fruit that it bears. Let me see. Let me see. I hear what you're saying, but let me see it. So I feel like the title of this video, Trusting Patterns Over Potential, is pretty much the basis of this message, but it kind of went in depth in some other ways as well. But it's all beneficial and it all aligns. I think it's just very important for us to realize that your life is yours, and what you choose to do with it is your choice. Who you choose to allow to be a part of it is your choice. But just know that every action has a reaction. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. That's one of the laws. I think that's one of Newton's laws. So everything has a ripple effect. Trust patterns over potential. Patterns are who someone is. Patterns is what it is, and potential is what it could be. So just knowing that should, I don't like to say should because it implies something other than what I'm intending. Let me say it in the best way. Knowing that can allow you to make more empowered decisions. When you're making decisions from a place of power, it changes the trajectory of your life. It changes the experiences that you have versus when you're making decisions from a place of disempowerment, of lack, of scarcity, of fear. If you want the best outcome, you have to put the best input in, right? So don't plant seeds in fear and expect to get a big crop or big flowers or whatever you're planting. Plant it in faith. And then when you plant it in faith, pick it in faith. Don't go picking in fear what you planted in faith. That doesn't make any sense. Who you are is who you show yourself to be. And who you show yourself to be is not just in the moments when other eyes are on you or when things are going right or going good. Who you are is revealed when there is nobody else around you, when nobody else is watching. Who you are is revealed in the smallest moments. How do you handle life experiences? Do you step up to the plate? Do you cower? Do you speak honestly and intentionally? Do you hold back? Are you being authentic? Because that's God's gift on the inside of each of us is authenticity. It serves no one for you to be other than who God has created you to be. It serves no one for you to be who other people think you should be. And that's one thing I'm so grateful for, is that I've given myself permission to be authentically me. Still learning and growing what that is and who that is. I'm not bound to the expectation that anyone else holds of me. I don't care what capacity it is. Mom, dad, sister, cousin, brother, son, daughter. And I'm ever evolving. So who I was even last week may not align with the version of me that I am now. And that's what growth should look like. We were once a seed and now we're blossomed, you know? So anywho, just wanted to come on here and share a little bit of my love, light, and grace with you, and to remind you to trust patterns over potential. Value patterns over potential for yourself and for others. Who you are is revealed through who you show yourself to be in the small moments. It's not always the big moments. Any questions before I go? Any questions, any comments? Thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate you. I pray that this message reaches who it is meant to reach and that it resonates. I am being intentional about being obedient and coming on here and just sharing what's on my heart, not with any other intention than just to share. It doesn't matter about the numbers, the shares, the likes, the comments, none of that. The obedience, that's the point. And as long as I do that, then hey, what more could I ask myself? I'm at the studio. I'm about to shut it down and go get some food, eat something, and I need to work on the computer and do some little things here and there. But other than that, it's a beautiful day to have a beautiful day. And a beautiful day begins with a beautiful mindset. How you set your mind will determine the type of life that you live. And I just want to remind you that life is happening every day. But even more importantly, life is happening every moment. If you're waiting for certain moments to live your life, then you don't realize it's just passing you by. Every moment that you have is an opportunity to live to the fullest. Take a deep breath. Remember that your breath is the most important thing that you have in your life. I think we don't even realize a lot of the times that we're so consumed in our head with what we think or how we feel. The breath is just on autopilot. And if your breath, which is the very basis of your life, if your breath is on autopilot, guess what, my darling? So is your life. So is your mind. When you bring your awareness to your breath and you come fully into the present moment, only then are you fully alive. Other than that, you're just existing. And I want to encourage you to live fully. Breathe deeply. Love wholly. I was saying holy like WHOLLY, but also HOLY. Love wholly. So I appreciate y'all. Thanks for hanging out with me. I pray that you have a lovely rest of your day. And yeah, I love you. But God loves you best. Till next time. Peace.